Shara, it's been an interesting fight, this one. This is the third opponent you've had for the same event. How has it been for you mentally dealing with the constant changes you've had to face?
You know, it's nothing strange or nothing new for me. Back when I was an amateur, I would fight a new opponent every day, and they were switching so quickly that I didn't even have a chance to learn anything about my next opponent, so I would just fight. Nothing changes for me. I come out to do my work, I come out to win.
Your new opponent has a 9-inch reach advantage. I'm curious, obviously you weren't preparing for that. What do you do to overcome that in the fight on Saturday?
Yeah, I know this. He's a very tall guy. He's taller than Alex Pereira, and I think he's larger than him. So, I don't know. We'll figure out a way to deal with it in the fight. I really don't think that anything changes for me. I'm going to come out there. I'm going to try and do an A+ job. I don't think he's going to get away from my punches. I don't think he's going to get away from my kicks. I don't think he's going to get away from my elbows. He is going to become a wrestler like all of my other opponents are going to try and wrestle me, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to win.
You obviously have had your UFC debut now. I'm sure you learned a lot from that experience. What do you want to do differently in this fight than you did in your first one?
What I understood is there's nothing impossible for me in that octagon, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a better performance than I did in my debut. The goal now is to make the weight tomorrow and then come out into the octagon on Saturday and show my entire self, show what I'm worth, show what I can do.
People often talk about where you could fight. It would seem likely that you probably could win this fight and then fight again in Abu Dhabi. Is that something you expect, or would you like to try and fight in other regions?
Yeah, you know, there's lots of places that I'd love to travel for and I'd love to fight at, lots of countries to fight for the fans, because I have fans all around the world. I mean, yes, obviously Abu Dhabi in October, Abu Dhabi in August, but other places as well, such as Australia. I'd love to fight in Perth, I would love to fight in Paris, and yeah, United States. I'm a pirate. I travel all shores and all seas, and I'm going to conquer all of them.
In a previous interview, you mentioned about playing like a villain in a Hollywood movie. Could you maybe expand on that, on what that movie is going to be about?
You know, I haven't really got into details too much right now. All I have is the fight ahead of me, but just to give you a little more info, is my managing team, Ali Abdulaziz, Firdaus, Rizwan, they said that there's an opportunity for me to do this role. So once the fight is over, that's when I'm gonna study that a little bit, and I'm gonna try and make sure to study the character, study the role, and really do a great job. And hopefully in the future there'll be more opportunities like that. I'd like to get into that.
Okay, and before he's obviously called out Michel Pereira and Marvin Vettori. So I just want to know, how do you feel you match up with some of the top 10 middleweights in the UFC?
You know, if you want to look at it soberly, I'm already, I think, in top 20, right? And I've only had one fight in the UFC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to show good fights, continue to show myself, and hopefully if the UFC gives me more fights, I'll be able to prove myself that I'm able to fight with such guys as Michel Pereira and Marvin Vettori.
I know you're obviously focused on your fight that you got coming up, but obviously there's a middleweight title fight coming up. So I just wanted to know your prediction for Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya.
You know, I think that the way the fight goes is that Adesanya is going to start winning by points, and then that would make du Plessis want to wrestle him. And you know, it just depends on what kind of Adesanya we're going to see, how motivated Adesanya is going to be after such a break. I know that du Plessis is always ready. Du Plessis is tough. He's strong, so you know he's going to try and dominate the fight. But you know, it's an interesting fight. I'll be watching it. It's interesting to me what's going to happen, and I'm going to train. I'm going to stay ready. So if any of them wants a substitute, if anyone needs to be substituted, call me. I'm a pirate. I'm going to conquer my gold. Shara, can you please tell us how long did you have to? How long since you found out that your opponent has changed, and how long did it take for you to agree to it? I agreed right away, and then 3 minutes after I agreed, Dana White went ahead and publicized the information. Question: Umar Magomedov once said that it doesn't matter who's going to make the weight against him, as long as even if it's Godzilla or if it's King Kong, as long as they can make the weight, then he's ready to face them. Is that the way that you approach this as well? Anybody who can make middleweight, anybody who can make the limit will go and you'll fight them. The answer is yes. It doesn't matter to me who's across from me. I was just saying that as long as they can make the weight, any opponent, I'm ready to face them.
Субзиро и дуэлянт не смогли зайти в клетку и стать на весе, сделать вес. Мне без разницы, хоть инопланетянин, пусть становится на весе, и погнали.
Sub-Zero and Duelist could not make the weight and could not get on the scale and could not get into the cage against me. I don't care who it is. Just make the weight and let's go.
Thank you so much, guys. That's all the time we have. Thank you very much.